Hey, how's it going, guys? It's ZedEye here. So, I definitely wanted to touch on this topic. It's actually quite controversial and also maybe very opinionated too. Now, I want to get into it and talk about Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut, especially coming on a PlayStation 5, and that a lot of people, and well, not a lot of people, pretty much everyone needs to pay an additional $10 on top if you wish just to simply receive PlayStation 5 exclusive features. Now, the question raises and asks, is this really worth it? Is it worth actually paying an extra $10 just to receive the PlayStation 5 version of the game to get these additional things? Now, I'm gonna get into some of the exclusive features, but first I want to touch on that the $10 specifically I'm talking about is the director's cut, let's say, or presume you will actually get for the PlayStation 4 first, right? Because if that's the case, if that's what you want to do, this will actually cost you an upgrade of $20. But that's expected because the DLC, or I should say an expansion, right? That will be pretty much justifying the cost of additional $20. So at least I didn't notice that a lot of people were complaining or would have been complaining about that. Because considering what we should be expecting, it hopefully will be worth $20. But in my opinion, I think it will be worth $20. Again, perhaps I'm being a little too optimistic, but that's just the way I view things, at least for this game. Now, let's get into the fact about the PlayStation 5 version of the same game, pretty much, right? I know regarding this situation that Ghost of Tsushima is getting replaced, and instead of it, it's actually getting included of a director's cut. Basically, it's going to be increased in the price, in the pricing. So if you want to get a completely brand new game, Ghost of Tsushima specifically talking about, the only way for you to do it is for you to choose for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 version of those games, but they have to be the director's cut. And on top of this, you have to pay for the full amount once again. So it raises the question, well, the game is 1 year old already, so is it really worth actually buying for a full price once again? Yes, because it will be coming as an expansion. So I think it definitely is worth it. Now, let's get into the main topic in hand, is regarding the PlayStation 5 features. I want to bring up this blog that's been touched on regarding the PlayStation 5 exclusive features and what to expect, and also let's talk about, is it really worth it? Okay, while Director's Cut players on both PS4 and PlayStation 5 will be able to experience the Iki Island content, the PlayStation 5 players will have access to a few additional new features. We've heard your feedback about the lack of Japanese lip sync in the original version of Ghost of Tsushima. This is important. Yes, that was the main issue. In fact, if you have checked out my review for the PlayStation 4 version last year regarding Ghost of Tsushima, I even specifically said that the Japanese version of the game, the lip sync, just simply, it's not good. It's not good. And in fact, I actually consider that as a negative. The game mainly was considering what you can experience. I even said playing the game in Japanese is awesome experience, but the lip sync is it's not good. It's just not good. Okay, thanks to the PlayStation 5's ability to render cinematics in real time, cutscenes in Ghost of Tsushima and on Iki Island on PlayStation 5 will now offer lip sync for Japanese voiceover. That's fantastic news, and to be honest with you, really, is it thanks to the PlayStation 5 ability to render cinematic in real time? Is that the reason why it wasn't implemented? Really? Do you, it just raises the question, can this not be implemented into the PlayStation 4 version of the Ghost of Tsushima as well? Alright, so let's continue and what else did they have to feature? We're also happy to confirm that Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and the new Iki Island expansions will all take the advantage of the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers in the director's cut. Now, this was a given, It is really up to you to consider if it's really worth the additional $10 for these features such as this. I'm sure a lot of people that have not experienced the PlayStation 5, they'll say, well, this is just a fucking gimmick. But to be honest, if you actually have the PlayStation 5, you'll know that it's actually quite a game changer. Now, again, it's not to say that every game does it well. The best game ever that so far has been released, it was Astro Bot. God damn. That feature is revolutionary. If you try displaying the game as an example, right, like a PlayStation 4 version or the PlayStation 5, yes, I know it's not available on PlayStation 4, I'm talking about as an example. the PlayStation 4 version, it would not have been as fluent or as felt as great as it did for the PlayStation 5, because the triggers and adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback is seriously revolutionized this game. Now, there are other games that have utilized this feature too. Returnal is one of them, because it is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, but again, not to the fullest degree that it could have been done, but it felt great and it plays very, very well. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart also utilizes it, again because it is exclusive towards the PlayStation 5, but once unfortunately again it does not utilize the whole lot of features of it. Same thing goes for the Demon's Souls remake. Okay, so there will also be enhancements to 3D audio on the PlayStation 5 for the game, but I feel like the only way it's actually you can utilize this feature is if you have a specific headset that you can use a 3D audio. A lot of other headsets has 3D audios implemented already, and also in talking about the TV. Now, as well as drastically improved load times. That's a really? Is it? Because to be honest with you, loading times on the PlayStation 4 version of Ghost of Tsushima was already absolutely incredible. But we cannot say the same thing when you just start up the game, because it does take a little while for it to load into the game. But the fast traveling, well, it was pretty much non-existent. That's actually the safest thing to say. It really was non-existent. I cannot wait to see how the PlayStation 5 will actually use this to their feature. It was simply an incredible job that Sucker Punch has done with the fast traveling system. But again, loading up into the game at the very beginning, now that was a different story. Now it's been improved, that's actually very good news. 4K resolution options and frame rates targeting 60 FPS. Okay, this is a little bit optional too. 60 FPS and, well, opinionated I should say. 60 FPS was already a feature for the Ghost of Tsushima, or even on the PlayStation 4 version of the game, at least for the PlayStation 4 Pro. So, this is not exactly new, right? It's not new news. 4K resolution option was not actually a thing. I believe Ghost of Tsushima was only supporting up to 1800p quality, but now with the additional quality improvements as a 4K resolution, yeah, it's definitely going to be looking much sharper and prettier. Now the question rises, is this all really worth the $10 additional? And is it really, is it worth it? Because we have to consider one thing. We finally got a $500, maybe some of you guys got $400 console. So why do we have to pay an extra $10 if we paid already $500 or $400? Yeah, so again guys, we have to, you are the only ones who can consider and saying, is this really worth it? Now, I want to share my opinion. Yes, I think it's worth it. Why? Now, it's not because of these features, but because of this game. And to be honest with you, when I finished the game, and I finished it multiple times, well, to be actually honest, it was twice. I played it on normal difficulty, then I played it on hard difficulty, and then there was a trophies, I got 100%, played the Legends mode of it, the online, and I was done. I sold off the game, that's it. But now, since the game is getting Director's Cut, it's also coming to PlayStation 5, I repurchased it, and I got it digitally this time. So just to make sure that I actually have it with me always. And yeah, basically I paid a full price all over again. Why did I do this? Because I want to support the developers, and yes, I do understand that developers are not going to get the full cut, but also means I'm going to be supporting a PlayStation, well, Sony. And I'm all for it, and I think it's worth it. Again, because I know Ghost of Tsushima is a brilliant game. It's one of the best games of 2020, in fact it's the game of the year of 2020 for me. And definitely not Last of Us or any other games that came out in 2020. Well, that's just my opinion. This is just the sole reason. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will start arguing with me and saying, blah, 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 you know, it's not worth it, it's not justified. Again, we have to consider they can be haters, they can be Xbox fanatics, you know, it's pretty normal. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's always the same shit again and again. I'm sure this is not exactly a good thinking too, right? We have to consider one thing. PlayStation may continue doing this. You know, every time there's an upgrade or update towards the game, they may charge us for additionally for the game to be played on PlayStation 5. So is this really going to be worth it for the future coming? Again, that's just people's opinion, and you have to consider for yourself if this feature it is indeed worth for you. but I highly encourage you to consider if this game itself is worth it for you. If you have never played Ghost of Tsushima, my advice, yes. My recommendation that you should pick up the Director's Cut edition of the PlayStation 5 version of the game, full price. Seriously. Just even 1 year old, I understand that. The game's still worth it. And now comes with the Iki Island, the expansion. Absolutely, 100%. Well, that's just my opinion, guys. Tell me down in the comments, what do you think? Are you gonna pick up the PlayStation 5 version, PlayStation 4 version of Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut? Perhaps are you excited? All right, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.